Hi everyone, welcome to another StickerKitten tutorial video. So in the recent product survey that we did, a lot of you said that you sometimes find it difficult to know what to do with stamps. You don't do a lot of stamping, you don't do a lot of colouring. So in this video I thought I would just give you a tutorial on 5 different techniques that you can try to colour stamps. So the first one we'll look at is using alcohol markers. The second technique is going to be paper piecing. The third one is using coloured ink pads. The fourth one is using watercolour paints, and the fifth one is using coloured pencils. Okay, so I personally find the world of alcohol markers very daunting. There are a lot of different brands such as Copics, Pro Markers, Spectrum Noir, Chameleon, loads more. There are lots of colours and they can be expensive. But to get started, you don't have to have a lot. So these are the only pens I've got. A set of Chameleon marker pens in neutral tones, and then these Stampin Blends. The Chameleon markers are quite big. They come with 2 different tips. So there's a brush tip, which looks like that. And then there's a bullet tip, which looks like that. And then these are kind of special because they also have this blending solution. So the way it works is the blending solution's in this end of the pen, and you can put the tip to the blending solution like that, wait a few seconds or however long, and then what you've got is the colour taken away. So when you colour, it goes from light back to the original colour. So if you leave it longer, it infuses more of the blending solution, and so you can stay in the lighter colour for longer before it goes back to the normal colour. This is kind of a bit advanced for me as well. I don't often use these pens for that particular aspect. If you do want to use them for that, then they're pretty cool. The other ones I've got are these Stampin Blends. So again, you have a similar 2-tip. And there's 2 shades for each one, so there's a darker pen and a lighter pen. And these are the only colours I got because it goes with my Mermaid Treasures range. So I'm gonna stamp and do a bit of colouring now to show you how I use them. The ink I'm using is this Memento Tuxedo Black ink, which is waterproof and it's also resistant to alcohol markers, so it won't run when you colour in your stamped image. The only thing is that you have to leave it to dry for a little while, at least 30 seconds or so before you start colouring, in order to make sure that the black ink dries. For the Mermaid Skin, I'm going to use this bisque colour, and I just use the colour flat as it is without any blending. For the hair, I'm going to use these 2 pens. I normally start with a darker pen, and I'm going to just colour in where I think the hair would be darkest on the mermaid, so kind of at the back here, and then there might be a bit of a shadow there, and then maybe I'll just put in some streaks where she might have variations in her hair tone. Next I'll colour over with the lighter marker pen. You can see that the good thing about these alcohol markers is that the colours blend together really well, and that's why they're much better than something like a felt tip where you'll really obviously see the streaks. These do go through the paper, so you'll see that on the back the colours are coming through. So just make sure that whatever you're colouring, you don't need to be able to see the back of it. For the second technique, I'm going to show you paper piecing now. So we're not actually going to colour in the mermaid's tail and her shell top, we're going to use patterned paper. So to do this we just need to stamp the mermaid on some patterned paper, and then we're going to cut out those parts and stick them on the original stamped image. Once those pieces are cut out, you just need to glue them on. And that's another easy way to add colour to your stamped images. You can then cut this out and use it on a card, like I have done on this Mermaid Treasures one. So here I've done the same technique. I've coloured her hair in, but this time I've just used the darker colour. I've also coloured in the treasure chest in the same way, and then I've just layered up some banner images and a shell that I cut out of the pattern paper too. The next technique I have to show you is using coloured ink pads. I'm using Distress Oxides. Now these are normally used for backgrounds and techniques, but you can stamp with them too, and I think they give a really nice chalky effect. So we're gonna let's do 2 colours for some background stamps, and then we can do a main topper with some of the other colours. So I'm going to group some small stamps together on the block to start with. So the stamps I'm using are from the Mermaid Treasures range. So we've got 2 stamp packs, and I'm going to choose a few of the little stamps from each of these. Now that we've decorated the corners, I'm going to make a centerpiece for the card using a circle punch. For the central image, I'm going to stamp a jellyfish in hot pink. And then I'm going to add some extra pieces around it. Technique number 4 is using watercolours to colour stamped images. You need to stamp with a waterproof ink again, so I'm going to use this Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm going to stamp the narwhal from the Mermaid Treasures Birthday Fishes stamp set. I'm using watercolour card because it's thick and more resistant to water than everyday cardstock. You can use normal cardstock, but just be careful not to put too much water on, otherwise it can wrinkle the paper. The watercolours I'm using are Winsor & Newton. So this is a set I've had since school, and it's well used. It's just a little set with all the basic colours. I think you can still get these on Amazon. They're not too expensive. They last for absolutely ages, and they're really easy to work with, and the colour's really nice. So I'm just going to paint the little narwhal and the seaweed to colour in the scene. So you can see that the painting doesn't have to be perfect. In some places I've just dappled the paint on the seaweed to give a kind of mottled effect, and it's okay if the paint kind of runs and bleeds together a bit, it just all adds to the watercolour effect. A final technique you can use is just good old-fashioned coloured pencils. So the ones I'm using are from W.H. Smith's. They were a gift from my friend for my birthday, and they're really nice pencils to colour with. I'm sure everyone's familiar with coloured pencils, so there aren't really any rules, just kind of have fun. I hope these ideas will help you feel more comfortable stamping and colouring. If you'd like to see more from me, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can pop over to stickerkitten.co.uk/newsletter to sign up for our email newsletter with updates from me. Thank you, bye!